Welcome back, trainers, to your Gym Challenge 30 mid-season showdown here in Cycle Center Place, Pico Rivera, California. My name is Coronel. Back with me is Maridon. We are here for top 8, ladies and gentlemen, and we are underway for our run back here between Andrew and Josh from round number 2 earlier, where we saw Josh completely dominate Andrew from the beginning of that round to the very end. And from Andrew's team, once again, it's the Incineroar, the Iron Jugulus, the Serena, the Fluttermane, the Kyogre, and the Urshifu Rapid Strike. And for Josh, it is going to be the Zamazenta, Rillaboom, Gastrodon, Chi-Yu, Whimsicott, and Goldengo. And both players are locked in here for our first of top 8 matches here in our final stages of this MSS here, Gym Challenge 30 in here, California. And here we go with game number 1 of technically day number 3 of these two trainers going up against each other. It's going to be the Zamazenta Gastrodon for Josh, and for Andrew, it's going to be the Iron Jugulus and Incineroar. Dauntless Shield going to activate. We're going to see Intimidate come down, and we're going to see the Iron Jugulus use his booster energy for the speed multiplier. And going into this turn is a bit interesting because there's a bit of leeway for this Incineroar just to click fake out onto the Zamazenta or the Gastrodon, whichever wants to take out, because the Zamazenta can just click body press onto both these Pokemon again and just carry out Josh's game plan of damage over time, which the Zamazenta was able to do in this entire set the last time they each played in round number 2. And that Zamazenta was just the key to victory for Josh, because as much damage as it did throughout the entire set, there was like almost no way Andrew was able to respond to Josh's play with that Zamazenta here, and promptly goes for the Terastallization onto the Incineroar as Andrew goes for it onto that Incineroar with the Terra Ghost to make sure the body press doesn't touch it. Instead, Zamazenta just clicks Protect. Its Gastrodon could also just protect it as well. No, we do not see it though, as the Iron Jugulus sets up the tailwind for Andrew's entire team. We're going to see the Willows come out into this Zamazenta trying to catch a go for the body press early, and this Gastrodon is free reign to go for a move here. It's going to be the Icy Wind here to at least mitigate some of the speed control that Andrew's got. But who knows if it's going to be enough to slow down the Incineroar, because from the looks of it, I don't think it will. And so, right here, the problem just becomes the Zamazenta's not in a great spot. Oh, Blind Hurricane just misses on the Zamazenta straight up. You need the rain to make sure it's perfectly accurate, or else it'll just miss entirely, as you just saw from that Jugulus. As we also see the Iron Defense go out into the Zamazenta as it avoids a Will-O-Wisp as well. We're going to see an Icy Wind as well from this Gastrodon, lowering the speeds of the Incineroar and Jugulus once again, perfectly negating the Tailwind, and now you have a +3 defense body press, likely in coming into that Iron Jugulus, and this Incineroar is already seeing the accuracy woes from that Will-O-Wisp, as it is only 85% accuracy, it is not 100. We see the Hurricane connect onto the Gastrodon this time around, and it will just perfectly survive it's at least over 50% HP here, as we see the Will-O-Wisp protect into the Zamazenta, as we're going to see the Yawn into the Incineroar, hopefully to draw out. This turn's a little interesting here as Hurricane misses again from the Iron Jugulus. This thing's just been inaccurate with those Hurricanes, let's just say that much. Body Press will finish it off, so Tailwind's now out of the equation for the future for Andrew. And now this Incineroar is just opting to switch in here, or no, it's going to go to sleep after the Yawn, but it will get a Will-O-Wisp off onto the Zamazenta, so it will have its physical damage reduced, but it will be going to sleep thanks to that Yawn. Did we see Earth Power? No, we see another Icy Wind. This Incineroar is going to remain slow. And now with this Incineroar going to sleep here, although you got the burn on the Zamazenta, you really need to bank on the fact your Backmon, that the Pokemon in the back are able to respond to something like that Zamazenta, because without that Tailwind anymore, okay, we do see the Urshifu come in here for Andrew, so it is going to be an Urshifu Rapid Strike going to be able to ignore those defense boosts with that Surging Strikes, although the problem is Gastrodon's in play, so you need to be able to knock it out first. That should more than be close combat range for that Gastrodon, and it is close combat range for that Urshifu. Probably will be a bit easy, just knock it out maybe go for the body press onto the Urshifu because you are down to -1 defense thanks to that close combat effect, as we do see that knockout happen to the Gastrodon thanks to that close combat. But you need to switch out just to make sure you use your Searching Strikes again. I don't know how much damage this Urshifu takes in this body press after the multipliers and everything. It's a critical hit instead. We are not going to have those calculations go in the mine. Down goes the Urshifu in one hit. Those will say that big. Those will say that is big because it's just going to be a Flutter Mane left for Andrew, and Josh still has two more Pokemon to select from because you just lost the Gastrodon from the lead here. And we're going to see that Flutter Mane come out from Andrew, and it's going to be, what is this? It's the Rillaboom coming out from Josh. So Grassy Terrain is going to come into play, and Incineroar still asleep. It could wake up this turn, but nothing a Heavy Slam can't deal with, because although Heavy Slam is not going to be hitting a 2-hit knockout onto this Flutter Mane, we've seen the calculations from turns prior with that -1 the attack and the burn, and we're going to see the Tower of Fire come out from this Rillaboom as well, so it will just basically make all of Andrew's damage from the Flutter Mane pretty much negated unless it went for the Shadow Ball. And if it doesn't go for the Shadow Ball, okay, we see the Moonblast. It's going to the Zamazenta. It's not doing so much damage. It will get a special attack drop, which honestly, it's not going to matter here. Heavy Slam, we've seen it before. We did not see it get a 2-hit knockout from that range. Woodhammer into that Incineroar. Not enough for the knockout quite yet. Can Incineroar wake up this turn? The answer is no. 2 turns to sleep for that Incineroar. And I'm not sure if that's actually a Grassy Glide range for that Rillaboom for Josh on Andrew's Flutter Mane here. If it is, I think you just have to go for it, because since the Incineroar is kind of just sitting there doing nothing, and it's going to have very minimal damage output, and yep, Andrew just throws in the towel. We're going to game 2 here. Josh now 3-0 against Andrew in combined sets as he takes a 1-0 lead in top 8. This has just been a struggle right now for Andrew, because it's really, really hard for him to break through that Zamazenta that Josh is carrying. And if you don't have an answer to that Zamazenta, I don't know if you have an answer for much of anything, if I'm going to be honest, because what do we have in this team? Because, like, you have the Kyogre potentially to threaten the damage onto the Zamazenta, but the problem is that your Kyogre is so slow due to the fact that it's holding out Assault Vest, and it's most likely HP invested so you tank as many hits as you can for things like Cataracts, Shadow Rider, and Miraidon to an extent. But because you have that, your damage extent just likely hinges onto the Flutter Mane or the Iron Jugulis, and we've seen Iron Jugulis be inconsistent with those Hurricanes without the rain, and Urshifu had to go for the Searching Strikes there, or else it would have been drawn away to that Storm Drain for that Gastrodon. I wonder what's going to be the move here for both of these trainers. Andrew still needs to find an answer to that Zamazenta, or else Josh is just going to advance into the semifinals without much of a break here, because it's mostly been some effort, but it's not been the effort to the extent of so many players playing a team like this. And so far, it's just like Andrew's been struggling to deal with that Zamazenta, because not only do you have to deal with the Zamazenta itself, you have to deal with the potential Whimsicott, with that Encore nuisance that could be potentially covering onto all of Josh's Pokemon. I mean, all of Andrew's Pokemon, because you don't want to get Encore to do much anything. But also, you don't really have that much momentum if you just allow the Zamazenta to get an Iron Defense up, so that's another problem to be wary of. Both these players locked and loaded for game number 2 here of this quarterfinal set. This is the second time, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the second time these players have played each other in today's tournament. Currently, Josh has won all 3 games between these two players, and Andrew needs to be able to find a response to whatever Josh is bringing here, which will be the Zamazenta and Whimsicott. It's going to be the Flutter Mane Urshifu lead this time around for Andrew, so you do have a bit of an answer towards the Zamazenta, although that could prop the Terra Grass on it. And if he does go for the Terra Grass, that might not be the worst thing in the world, because it leaves you open to the Iron Jugulis, but we've seen how inaccurate that Hurricane's been, and that's just like, do you want to trade that off? Are you fine taking Surging Strikes with Moonblast? Obviously, I think Double Protect is a safer play here, just to find out what Andrew's doing here, and I believe that's what Josh's best move is, because although you might not be able to block through that Zamazenta here, I mean, block through the Urshifu gets an Unseen Fist, I think you're better off just checking for what that Urshifu does as a whole, because you don't know if you want to go for the Terra Grass right now, as we see we see the Tailwind come out for this Whimsicott as Serena comes into play for Andrew. Unfortunately, did not catch an Encore on that slot. Heavy Slam onto that. Serena is going to do half damage as Close Combat goes straight into that Zamazenta. Doesn't even do half damage with that Dauntless Shield defense boost. And now that leaves that Urshifu open for a body press in the scenario, because although that is a choice scarf, we did see just now Zamazenta is just faster than this Urshifu with that Tailwind, and body press at +1 against the -1 of that Urshifu thanks to that Close Combat should be enough to potentially one-hit knock it out from that range. We do know it's a choice scarf. It is not that focus dash that we sometimes see out of Urshifu from time to time. Instead, we're going to see seen Terrestrialization from this Urshifu from Andrew. It's going to be the Grass type, which could potentially help against Moonblast, but I'd be more worried about the body press if I were Andrew. What comes out here though? Moonblast into this Urshifu. That actually would have been able to knock it out in one hit, but instead we see the body press just guarantees the KO onto the Serena now that the Queenly Majesty's out of the way. Whimsicott can go for the Encore once again. If we see another Close Combat into that Zamazenta, it is not enough for a knockout. That Urshifu is just going to be in big trouble in the next turn. There is the Flutter Mane that we do know about, and in comes the Iron Jugulis once again. And the Jugulis has a problem right now where it could be double targeted. If it gets double targeted, you probably go for Protect here. If it doesn't get double targeted, do you go for your Tailwind? Because you're obviously slower right now thanks to the 2 turns that Josh has of Tailwind remaining. It's just, what do you do here if you want any of these players? Moonblast into the Iron Jugulis is not enough for the knockout quite yet. Body Press secures the KO onto the Urshifu. Down it goes. And now it's just Iron Jugulis and the Flutter Mane left for Andrew. As we're going to see the Tailwind does get set up here from Andrew. Is it too little too late though? For although you can go for the Dazzling Gleam as your block of choice, you don't know the last 2 Pokemon from Josh's end, because you only have to deal with the Whimsicott and Zamazenta throughout this entire battle. But there is one thing we know for sure, is that if Zamazenta is not trained fast enough, it will be underspeeding that Flutter Mane and will get knocked out. If Zamazenta goes down, the bold game plan goes away from Josh, as we see the Whimsicott click to Protect to preserve that focus dash that it carries. Hurricane misses once again. No, it hits a Protect. It hits a Protect at the Whimsicott. I thought I went for the Zamazenta there, as Dazzling Gleam is going to outspeed the Zamazenta, but now it'll finally go down. After so much damage is dealt to all of Andrew's Pokemon, down it goes finally. As Tailwind expires for Josh, but he'll easily be able to reset that. 100 Pokemon in the back here. Rillaboom comes out from Josh. That's Grassy Glide range for that Iron Jugulis if you are Josh with that Rillaboom. And Woodhammer obviously will be able to knock it out from that range, because I do know for a fact that this Whimsicott is not really trained to be offensively, as I believe this will be the Terrifier. Yes, it is going to be the Terrifier once again. That is confirmed to make sure you resist that Dazzling Gleam now that you know his choice specs, but also it makes your Hurricanes neutral now that you're no longer that Grass type. And the Grassy Glide will just finish out the Iron Jugulis here. It is now Flutter Mane versus Whimsicott, Rillaboom, and one unknown Pokemon for Josh. This has just been the story of the game for this series, because Andrew has just no answers to the Zamazenta and then the incoming combinations that Josh has just had. Moonblast not going to do a whole lot of damage here, but that should be it for this set, as Josh Denk will probably be advancing to the semifinal. Yeah, there it is. Throwing in the towel. Josh Denk wins 2-0 against Andrew Ding for a second set. What a win for Josh Denk, and he will advance to the semifinal round, where he will be awaiting 7 other trainers that could be potentially head on into the series. And once again, there isn't much to be said because this is a set that's already been happened, and now that it's over, we can confirm that the Zamazenta team was probably specifically built to beat Kyogre teams, but even if it is not meant to beat those Kyogre teams, it has such consistent matchups against a lot of the board. You have Gastron against the Urshifu, you have Rillaboom against Kyogre, you have Chiyu Goldigo and Whimsicott for special attack pressure, especially with that choice card that it's holding. We've yet to see that at all. We've yet to see the choice specs holding go from Josh himself. It's just really just good all around the board. That's what we learned. But let's see what's going to be happening now as we're going to take another break here for Gen Challenge number 30. We'll be right back with the semifinal round after this.